The night was a cloak of shadows, broken only by the faint glow of searchlights sweeping the perimeter. Lieutenant Commander Mara Steele crouched atop the ridge, her breath shallow but steady, listening to the hum of enemy patrols below. Somewhere inside the heavily fortified compound, General Carter, the man whose life had become a symbol of hope for the entire military, was trapped. Unaware that the woman trained to save him was already closer than he could imagine, Mara adjusted her scope, feeling the weight of the mission settle in her chest. One wrong move, and everything would collapse. One wrong move, and she might never see him again. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're re-watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Months of intel had led her here to a compound designed to break men like her. Every corridor, every guard rotation, every camera blind spot had been studied, mapped, memorized. Mara's mind replayed the simulations she had drilled 1,000 times, but reality had its own cruel twists. A shifting guard patterned the wind, picking up dust across the courtyard, the faint creak of a gate in the far corner. She pressed her fingers to the edge of her rifle, feeling the cold steel as a tether to focus and calm. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. The first challenge came almost immediately. Patrol rounded the corner unexpectedly, boots echoing on concrete. Mara froze, heartbeat hammering against her ribs, then melted into the shadows. The guards passed, unaware of the silhouette pressed against the wall. Every detail mattered. The slight rustle of her uniform, the shimmer of her optics in the moonlight, the way her foot touched the dirt. Her training had made her a ghost. Tonight she had to remain unseen and unstoppable. Inside, the prison cell holding General Carter was brutal, a stark reminder of the stakes. Mara had watched the security feeds for weeks, memorizing the layout as if her own life depended on it. The man inside had no idea she was coming, and she had no idea how much time they had before reinforcements arrived. Her chest tightened at the thought, yet she moved forward, silent, resolute, unstoppable. She reached the inner compound just as a faint alarm tripped somewhere in the distance. Mara froze, counting the seconds, feeling her pulse synchronize with the rhythm of the guard's patrol. She could almost feel the general's fear, the tension of a man accustomed to command reduced to vulnerability. Mara's hands trembled only slightly as she picked the lock on the cell door, a practiced motion, but her mind raced with every possible scenario. The door clicked open. The general blinked in disbelief. "Mara," he whispered, voice hoarse. She nodded, giving him a brief, reassuring smile. "We're leaving," she said quietly. No time for words, no time for hesitation. The exfiltration was a symphony of precision. Mara led the general through shadowed corridors, disabling cameras, evading patrols, and navigating obstacles that would have trapped lesser soldiers. Every step was weighted with danger. The echo of distant boots, the metallic scrape of keys in a lock, the sharp scent of antiseptic mingling with dust. They moved like a tide, silent, coordinated, invisible. But then came the moral tension. A young guard, barely 18, turned a corner. Eyes wide and trembling, gun raised instinctively. Mara froze. One shot, and the mission would be over. One hesitation, and they could be compromised. Her training urged her forward, but her humanity whispered restraint. In one fluid motion she disarmed him, keeping the man unharmed, binding him quickly, silently, ensuring he could not raise the alarm. Mercy, she realized, was another kind of strength. Outside, the compound perimeter loomed, guarded by razor wire, floodlights, and armed men. Mara scanned, calculating distances, timing, and angles. She led the general across a narrow dirt path, shadows wrapping around them, until they reached the extraction point. The chopper waited silently, rotor blades cutting a whisper into the night. As they lifted off, Mara allowed herself the briefest moment of relief. The general looked at her, awe and gratitude mingling in his eyes. I thought I was done for," he said. Mara shook her head. "Not tonight," she replied, voice calm but eyes still alert. She knew the danger wasn't entirely past, not until they were safely away. The city below fell away, lights twinkling like distant stars. Mara reflected on the weight of the mission, the hours of planning. The fear she had mastered, the lives she had saved, without sacrificing her own moral compass. The world would soon celebrate the general's safe return. But she knew the quiet victory, the one in shadows and silence, was hers alone. Because courage doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And as the dawn painted the horizon with streaks of gold, Mara allowed herself a small smile. Alone behind enemy lines, she had rescued the man who many thought was lost forever. She had faced fear, danger, and moral dilemmas, and emerged not just victorious, but humane. The mission was complete, yet the echoes of her courage would linger long after the city awoke. If this story inspired you, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Your voice keeps whispered words alive, and every heroic story remembered.